Hey, so if the Ladybug and Black Cat Miraculous are supposed to create a perfect balance, because they are completely opposing powers, creation and destruction, why do you always make Ladybug out to be more powerful? You guys are being misogynistic. Why can't the woman be more powerful? What? Sir, I'm pretty sure half of your episodes could not pass the Bechdel test. The main girl in your story is completely obsessed with a boy to the point that she literally stalks him. And she's a fairly smart girl, maybe a little bit clumsy, sometimes awkward, but can't form a sentence around this boy she likes. You write her to know his schedule by heart, like literally as a stalker, and make up conflicts with Marinette and the other characters if they like Adrian, including her being irresponsible with her ability to transform to yell at one of the people trying to win over Adrian. But no, saying powers that should create a perfect balance should be equal is more misogynistic than that. Sure. Okay, but do people just forget that people who menstruate can also get injured? Because let me tell you, I've only had a handful of injuries in my life. The worst ones would probably be my broken collarbone and my sprained ankle. Just in regards to pain. When I broke my collarbone, I fell on a baseball, someone fell on me, I passed out, I cried, I almost threw up, and then I went to the emergency room and spent 5 hours in the emergency room. But my entire time in the emergency room, I sat there and I played games on my phone. I was in pain, but I could think of other things, you know? When I sprained my ankle, I forgot to put my foot down when I was getting out of a turning jump, so I toe folded through it. I stood up, got very dizzy and nauseous, almost passed out, and then continued on my class. And then I had to drive home. My car is a standard, so I needed both feet to drive home. And actually, the foot that was sprained was the one I needed to use the clutch. That was not a pleasant experience, but it's not the worst pain I've ever experienced. To this day, the worst pain I've ever experienced was the time I forgot my Tylenol, so I had no access to any painkillers, and I started my period. The pain was so bad I could not think of anything else. I was in so much pain that all I could think of was that pain, and I started crying. And it just slowly got worse, and then I started throwing up uncontrollably. I'm someone who's actually terrified of throwing up, so if I'm throwing up, it's because I cannot stop myself from throwing up. I also almost passed out from that pain, and the only reason I didn't was because I was at home, and I was in my bathroom. I knew well enough that warm baths would be able to soothe the cramps, even just a little bit, and that was the only thing that kept me from passing out from the pain. The pain was so bad that I was experiencing symptoms consistent with appendicitis. But then at that point I was like, I cannot wait this whole day to get painkillers, so I asked my mom to get me some Tylenol, and she did. And that was the day I learned to never go anywhere without painkillers. Because it started off as normal period cramps. It started off as my typical experience with period cramps, waking up in a lot of pain, wanting to cry, because I'm in so much pain. But I've gotten through those before, on painkillers. I spent hours without painkillers with a broken collarbone in an emergency room, and I was able to function fine. I am not the worst case scenario when it comes to how painful period cramps can be. Some people have prescription pain meds, and they only just barely help the symptoms I experienced. To this day, I've never been in so much pain in my life. Thankfully, my period cramps don't get that bad every single month. And also, thankfully, I'm able to function if I take painkillers. Some months are worse than others, but I can function if I have over-the-counter painkillers. Some people can't function if they have prescription painkillers. Some painkillers has the potential to be more painful than a broken bone for me. So please take a second to think about that, to think about how painful they can be, before you say anything about how we react to our cramps.
She was like, and this is where they eat, and this is where they sleep, and this is where they swim, and these are our 2 gay penguins. And I went, what? She went, these are our 2 gay penguins, and I was like, one more time, please. She went, these are our 2 gay penguins. I was like, why did you show me anything else? Wasting my time with giraffes.
Did Rick Riordan just confirm canonical Mpreg in Trials of Apollo? When Rick started writing more queer representation in his stories, this was not what I expected. No, I know I have the answer, but for the sake of my conscience, can someone else take this? If you recognize yourself in these pages, stop reading immediately. Holy shit, and am I a demigod?
So, earlier today, my cousin sent one of those gender memes. You know what? I'll just show you. What gender do you identify as? Male. Option 2. Woman. Other. Unexpected item in bagging area. And Greenland. And that meme has officially solved how I will respond to people asking what my gender identity is. Every single time I tell people I'm unlabeled, they give me like 800 different labels, and I'm like, I'm consciously unlabeled? No. No, from now on I'm gonna say unexpected item in bagging area is my gender. Simply put, that's literally it. That's my relationship with gender. Unexpected item in bagging area. Thanks again, Blue.
Okay. Here's the thing. This straightener is 1 out of 4 straighteners that I've personally owned in my lifetime. I have been using a straightener since I was 10. But the thing is none of them seem to work very well. 'Cause I've been using them for 7 years, give or take. But I'm still gay. You know you watch too much Supernatural 1. To get this much out of the way, we are selling my house. So if any of you have ever moved before, you know that when someone puts an offer on the house, they usually ask for an inspection. My experience has been no different. Today is Friday, but for whatever reason, there's no school today. But the inspection was scheduled for this morning nonetheless, so I was going to be here while they were inspecting the house. Despite being completely aware of this fact, when this guy came to my house and said that I'm here for a house inspection, I was not entirely convinced that he was not a hunter and was here to help me out with the ghosts in my house. Listen. We actually do have a ghost in this house. His name is Simon. Sometimes he'll mess with our stuff, but he's pretty quiet. I don't think he's killed anyone recently. Simon, have you killed anyone recently? He might have also just left. You know, sometimes he does that too. Sometimes he just goes quiet for a while. In either case, I am still not entirely convinced that this guy was here to inspect my house. I think that that's something else going on.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, what was that about?
Alex just asked me if we had a thing in high school. What? I guess he's finally having his sexuality crisis after 4 years. And he called you. Apparently, that's so weird. Right? Hey, Liam. Remember how Alex called you, like, back in January? How could I forget? Well, I think I just figured out why. What? Why? Well, apparently he's been sleeping with the Prince of England since about that time. What? You know why I love college AUs? Because it's just a bunch of burnt out, sleep-deprived, barely adults who probably are in desperate need of a glass of water interacting. And it's just so funny, because it's like 19-year-olds who cry over their feet looking like Powerpuff Girl feet. Like, I just read one where Will Salas accidentally broke into Nico's dorm, and Nico walked into his kitchen to see Will sitting on the counter eating straight out of a jar of Nutella, and in this year he's never seen Will before in his life. And his response to seeing this was just to close the door and go back to studying for his class. Because he's so sleep deprived that he's not convinced that what he saw is actually real, and on the off chance that it was, well, he has a class to study for, so, you know, maybe he'll get murdered, maybe he won't. He doesn't have the time to deal with it. And if that's not the biggest mood, as someone who's at the tail end of their last year of high school, I don't know what is.
So I need to submit a grad quote, and I've come up with 3 options, and I don't know which one is the best one. Comment your opinions. Quote number 1 is, "Can I sue the creators of those teen rom-coms for false advertisement?" Quote number 2 is, "I survived a pandemic to get here, but I still cry over trigonometry." So that's something. And the third and final quote is, "My personality has boiled down to 4 things these last 3 years. I'm short, I'm gay, I can't do math, and I drink about as much caffeine as a college student during finals." Please, which one is your favorite? Because I have literally sent them to multiple people and gotten conflicting answers. Hey, excuse me, isn't that your son? What? The blonde one? Yeah, Will. Yes, Will. I didn't know if you knew his name. Is he your kid or not? Oh yeah, he is. So there's like a creepy kid kind of like sneaking up on him, just so you know. Creepy kid? Where? The kid with the dark hair and the bomber jacket, hiding behind a tree. Oh, Nico! You know that kid? Yeah, I brought him here. You brought a random child to your son's school? He's not a random child, he's Will's boyfriend. His boyfriend? Yeah. So, how do you feel about that? I mean, the dark and brooding type has never been my thing, but if it makes Will happy... What? What? Oh! Did you mean how I felt about him having a boyfriend, like, instead of a girlfriend? Well... I've had more boyfriends than he has. Oh, and more girlfriends, but I don't know if he's interested in having a girlfriend. I mean, obviously, he's only really interested in Nico, so... Would you be less uncomfortable about my son having a boyfriend if I told you I gave birth to his sister? What? I don't know how to make this situation better. Dude, why are some of the cabins, like, so full and then some of them are empty? What's going on with that? Oh, so the cabins are dedicated to each god, so children stay in the cabin that's dedicated to their godly parent. Oh, okay. So, like, the other ones would be for maiden goddesses like Athena and Artemis? Sorta. Athena does have kids, actually. She's a virgin goddess, isn't she? She is, yeah, but, you know, I guess with her being the goddess of wisdom, she's able to make children with a really powerful thought. Okay, so, like, they're born the same way she was. I guess weirder things have happened. Yeah. So what about the other ones? Well, Hera, goddess of marriage and family, only has kids with Zeus. I see you. Yeah, and then Zeus. Hold on, what? What? Did you just say Zeus's cabin is empty? Yeah, he's only really had 2 kids in the last century or so. One of them became a hunter of Artemis, and the other was with his Roman equivalent, so... Zeus has only had 2 demigod children in the last century? Yeah? You're messing with me, right? No. Right, okay, so the 2 cabins that are stuffed full, who are they for? Apollo and Hermes. Okay, I guess that adds up, but also... 2 children. In 100 years. What? Yeah, do you need me to, like, confirm my story? Cite my sources? Kinda, yeah. Jeez. Hey. Hi, what's up? New camper. Ah, okay, how can I help?
Zeus has only had 2 demigod children in the last century, right?
Yeah. What?
This has to be a running joke here. Like Zeus. Father of, like, what, half of Greece? You're shitting me. You're shitting me. You're at a camp full of demigods and you don't know about Zeus's history with, oh my... I'm so confused. You and me both. God of one night stands is no more. Rip.
What?
See? It's really me, Adrian Agrest. We've met before. I'm sure you remember one of those times I fell off a building, so. Oh, we've met a lot more than you even know. What? Spots off. Marinette? Mm-hmm. Oh, but wait, but the multi-mouse? Man, that was a plot, a whole scheme to make sure you didn't figure out who I was. Wow, and all I did was pretend I thought it was an elementary school. Yeah, that worked really well. Holy shit, that explains so much, actually. What, me telling you it's an elementary school? No, that you're Adrian, I mean it's... Oh my god, it's mortifying, but... Wait, why is it mortifying? Am I that repulsive? No, oh god. Oh, fuck. How do I even... I've been rejecting you for you, this is... You've been what? Oh my god. Can I... explain? Do you remember... that... surprise with all the candles? Yeah. Oh, you saw that twice! Uh-huh, and when you found me, I was moping on my balcony over you. Cat Noir? Over Adrian? There it is. Wait, is that what all the stuttering's about? Yes! What did you think it was? That you didn't like me? Adrian, I want to give you a pass because you're a homeschool kid, but it's also been 2 years. Everyone else knows. Even Kagami knows. Kagami knows and she dated me. Oh. Don't worry about it. I encouraged it. Oh. Well, in my defense, you were giving me nothing, so. Oh my god, I've been calling you just a friend this whole time. Yeah, that felt great, by the way. I was just so hung up on, like, well, you. Evidently. I mean, we both are kind of at fault for that. We've been rejecting each other for each other. This is... So are you saying that thing with the wax statue wasn't a joke? Can we please never bring up the wax statue? Ever? For the sake of my own sanity? Yeah, okay. Oh my god, wait. What? Chat Obviously you didn't tell everyone who I was. You were Cat Noir! Chat Blanc? What is that? Hey, so my period's kind of awful. Really? Have you ever been on birth control? What? No. Do you want to try that? Sure. Alright. Okay, so how does this work? Start it when your next period starts. Okay, is there anything else I should, like, be worried about? There's a list in there. A list? Okay, don't forget to check in with me. There's a list the size of a fucking newspaper, and you're just giving this to me with one instruction. Yep. This is like small print too. What the Alright. Anything else? What? No. Guess we're done then.